like to call to order the regular board meeting for May 20th, 2024. And we'd like to welcome you to the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education. All of our meetings have been posted in our offices in each of our district buildings on our school website. And there is a copy of the agenda on the website as well as in the back as far as a physical copy that you can pick up. And of course, the agenda is emailed out as well to those who subscribed. And our school board members do receive the agenda and all of the artifacts and documents ahead of the meeting in order for them to review and be prepared to review that information and participate fully in the meeting as per their duties of their office. And this meeting of the Board of Education is in public for the purposes of conducting the school district's business and is not considered a public community meeting. We do value as a Board of Education the public comments that people would like to share on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. We do have that portion in our agenda, and we do request that if you wish to address the board, that you complete a public comment card to ensure that we can provide an appropriate response to address any question or concern that is raised. With that said, let's do our Pledge of Allegiance. With that, let's move on to our roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Here.
Ms. Brackett.
Here.
Ms. Rader absent. Ms. Lesh here. Dr. Carlin.
Here.
Ms. Berry.
Here.
And Dr. Burnett.
Here. Moving on to item D, adoption of tonight's agenda. May we have a motion, please?
I move the agenda for the board meeting of May 20th, 2024 be adopted as written.
Support.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to recognition of visitors. Again, we'd like to welcome you to our Board of Education meeting, as well as a celebrative time with retirements of Laura and Brenda. Anything else you want to add, Ms. Robinson?
Just thank you everyone who was here and then also who came to celebrate our two retirees, Laura and Brenda, today. So what a great day to celebrate in time well spent here in Buchanan.
Okay. Excuse me. And moving on to item F, points of pride. Kelly?
Yep. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Do you need water?
I'm good.
All right, so this month's Buck Staff Appreciation May nominees: Brittany Thomas, Buchanan Middle School paraprofessional; Bryant House, Buchanan Middle School custodian; Julie Lamar, Ottawa interventionist; Casey Macbeth, lead instructional coach; Christine Reddick, second grade teacher; Michelle Munyon, administrative assistant to the superintendent and BOE; Michael Babcock, Moccasin Elementary Principal; and Shelby Beasley, Buchanan Middle School Principal; and Jessica Elliott, Buchanan High School.
I figured one of her freshmen wrote that.
I will say, so my brother made similar posts from the Niles page.
Yes.
And his athletic director and some of his coaches weren't pleased
Oh.
that they were like, man, why'd you, man, I just threw somebody under the bus. They basically were like, man, why are you saying good luck to the Bobcats? I'm like, 'cause, like, that's the right thing to do. And I was
Yeah.
like, I know it is. So we were kind of tag teaming that from both the Niles and the Buchanan district. And I do think that the Brandywine people received it really well.
Very well, and that's where I saw it, was all on social media, and it just took off, and it was very positive, and I thought it was positive, so congratulations, it was well received, so thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Ours isn't working either, Katie, if that helps.
Yeah, he said some power outage.
If you were going to ask about, connection.
Oh, is it?
Nah.
They're all up, I mean, they're showing. I don't, that doesn't mean anything.
It may be just, yeah, may have to reboot, but, okay.
Do you want
All
me
right.
to put this material so you can see?
And with that, we have athletics.
Oh, yours is working out.
So, yes, we have
We'll get
just
through
some,
this.
some celebrations within our athletics department. And I know the girls are out playing now. So our girls are the softball conference champs. So we want to, lift them up, as well as our girls soccer are also conference champs. So this season, so we are excited to have and to celebrate both of them at this time.
Soccer is also out playing right now.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay!
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Very good. And then we have Buchanan High School Academic Excellence Breakfast Celebration? Is that the next recognition?
Yep, so we are celebrating our students again. They participated in this breakfast. I think this was the one at Niles, and Niles hosted. There was Brandywine, Buchanan, and Niles celebrating the top students in the area. And I think the high school principals all they came together and put that on. So we appreciate the leadership at our high school departments and our building principals in putting that on. And we're hoping that this gets bigger and better. And actually, according to Mr. Pruitt, this happened, I think, before COVID. So they and their leadership are bringing this back to the area.
Nice. All right. And then we have CTE Awards Night.
Yeah, another celebration, and I know Mr. Fry put it in his letter or update. I believe there was five CTE award winners this year, and so we celebrated them last week Tuesday at a really nice dinner for the CTE award celebration. So we're excited about our books. So we're rocketing in a lot of areas.
Very good. A day of celebration, which is really cool. All right, Superintendent Department reports.
Department reports are all included in your packet, and just for our community, our board, our leaders in each department and building principals all submit monthly updates to our board, just giving them just a window in what's happening within their buildings each month.
Very good. And presentations now. I think that is Mr. Pruitt.
Mr. Pruitt. That's cool.
I realized it was even earlier in the year. But I feel bad because it's end of the year, long meetings, long days. Last year, I'm going to cut this one shorter because last year I think we went like 15, 20 minutes. So it's more of a, like the point of pride, so just some positive things we wanted to share that have taken place this year that probably you've heard, but we just want to keep it going so we know that all the good things that are going on. So I was going to start, and I know Mrs. Robinson mentioned it earlier, just the opportunities our kids have had to leave the building this year. A lot of different things, like our special ed students got to go to MCTI, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a Michigan Career Technical Institute. It is a college for special ed students where they get training in different careers, and they go away. It's free as far as I know too. It's free, and so every year we try to take, the last 2 years we've tried to take kids to go visit it because we've had a couple kids where they've gone and it's been amazing. So that was a great experience for them. Our special ed staff got together, took our students to the South Bend Cubs game this year. Our biology students got together and went to the Field Museum in Chicago, and then they also invited a bunch of our older science kids who they knew would love it, kind of brought them in, so it was kind of a way for them, nice fun thing for them to graduate. Our environmental science class, they went to our wastewater treatment plant. Cheap, free, easy, but they got to learn a lot, and it was a really cool experience. Our Spanish, Mr. Munyon has done some cool things with our Spanish kids, our Spanish 3 and 4 kids, going to local restaurants, bringing Mrs. Munyon and I back snacks, going to the Chicago Museum of Mexican Art. So just doing some cool stuff that we hadn't had a chance to do in the past. Mr. Fry got to take some 9th graders to Career Pathway Day. And then just recently we had the close-up trip where we had 5 students go this year, and then also the social studies Some social studies students got to go to SMC and learn about the Michigan Supreme Court system and meet the justices and kind of interact with that. So that was a cool experience. So we're trying to get our kids out more. We know that, stuff's not cheap, but we like to be able to do it if we can. Our art department is still thriving as usual. Mrs. Miller's killing it. We had she brought in speakers from the Milwaukee Institute of Art to work with our kids. We had, they were involved in Empty Bowls again as usual. The Art Center exhibition downtown at the Rhodey Center, we had quite a few. We had Brianne Webb had a first place finish, Savannah Tharp a second place, Nova Panzak a second, Cheryl Lippert a third, Lily Mast a third, Trinity Liebetrau a third, and a bunch of honorable mentions, which was very cool. We even had one student picked for like a special day where she got to go to St. Mary's College and work in a workshop. So we've had our art kids, every year it just seems like our art kids are excelling and they love what Mrs. Miller is able to do with them. With Mr. Fry up here, CTE World, he's done some great work this year, and we really appreciate everything he's done. Getting the new SIP approved for electrical. We're not going to have it next year, but there is, like he said before, if we know someone that wants to do a little part-time work to teach some electrical too, we now can teach electrical classes, which no one has down here, so that's kudos to him for getting that done. Working hard to get that, so Mr. Brown could drive that Ford Fusion or Focus? That Ford Fusion home from Campbell Ford, so now the kids can work on something a little newer for them. And then also over $100,000 worth of grants, buying tons of things for the CT rooms, including the new lifts out in the garage. So just lots of cool things going on there. Continuing to bring in assemblies. This year we had an assembly, a Patience and Persistence assembly, where one of our, I'm going blank on her name, Greta Pope, her son came in from Atlanta, I think it was, and just wanted to, he's young, he's involved in law, and just wanted to talk to the kids about kind of his journey and not to give up and just how to stick with things, so that was great. We had our decision day just 2 weeks ago, and if you didn't get a chance to see that, Mr. Flowers, there's lots of people involved in it, but just to hear him up here, how excited he gets, raffling off those prizes for those kids, it's amazing. So we had a great decision day showing off what all of our kids are doing, not just college, it's about the trades and all the different things they're doing. So everybody that was here got honored, got to go up there and a chance to win some prizes. So cool things going on there. As usual, we're continuing with our interventions with Mrs. Southwell. Gosh, love her to death. I know last year she talked for like 20 minutes, but you know what? It's okay. We love everything she does. Without her, I don't know what we would do. So luckily, she has her grandson still here for another year. Keep it going. Just the things she does for us. The ASA, setting up all the meetings that Mr. Fry and I get to go to help kids out, and then the different tiered interventions we're doing, which we'll talk about later too. We had some new additions this year. Mrs. Elliott right there. Okay, if you haven't heard, she's got this new mass media class, which has been amazing. The diverse skills these students are learning by planning, executing, communicating. They're transcending into the other classes. They're becoming leaders. They're dedicated learners. She's taking them off campus to do things now. And what I love about it is it's led to the Buck broadcast, which our kids love, and it's an every week thing. But one of my favorite things is that she mentioned how her brother works over at Niles, and they work together. And the classes, his class, her class, they're working together, they're sharing ideas. They're just, the teamwork we have going on, I know there's lots of rival stuff, but the teamwork we have going on, she sets the example for that, and just the things she's done in that class in 1 year has been amazing, and winning grants to things for her classroom, so I really appreciate that you guys approved that last year, so she can have that class. And then we added a couple more teachers too I know we have Miss Persak in the choir, which she's done amazing things, and continuing to build that. Mrs. Garland in the Spanish world, bringing her back to Buchanan has been great. And then Mr. Bennett, who, again, thank you again for approving. He's been a tremendous asset to our science department and adding new classes next year, including his computer science class. So just thank you for allowing those things to happen. We had some great testing stuff this year. Results are coming in. Some kids are happy. Maybe not everybody is, but you know what? We work hard here. We spent the fall, new online testing this year, so we spent the fall working with our kids, getting them ready, taking the PSAT in the fall. We worked really hard with Dr. Carlin throughout the year, not only with our teachers, but with our students, trying to get them as much practice as possible, so when they took it in the spring, they could feel as comfortable as they could. So we really appreciate Dr. Carlin and all he did with our kids and staff. We have our 3 AP classes. We had 17 students take the AP test out of those 3 classes. And none of them walked away crying, so that's a good thing. And then we also had to do we do our usual NWEAs, and Mr. Fry here had to administer his first NAEP test, which is never fun because you get randomly drawn out of a hat to give another test to kids, just what they want to take. So he did a great job with that. If you didn't hear about last night, honors convocation Michelle did a great job putting together the blurb today for us, and it was already on the news, and I love it. We, combining the Buchanan Promise with all the Gateway scholarships with all the other ones, we gave away over $1.5 million in scholarships last night, which was amazing. And this year, we did a little change in our honor system. We have our honor students and our high honor students, kind of tiering them a little, and out of our 92 graduates, 44 students either were honors or high honors, which is pretty amazing. And I had a couple people compliment about that last night. We had 4 vals, 3 sals. I don't remember a time where we had that many vals and that many sals. So our kids are just working hard, and we love to see that. Our kids are also giving back, all right? We had 2 school-wide blood drives where we partnered with the South Bend Medical Foundation, Blood Donor Award for raising more blood than Niles, again, partnering with these laboring communities. We had a nice competition, and Mrs. Holot kicked butt with our students, and we beat them, which is always wonderful. Our student council, working with the Powder Puff in the fall, did a bunch of fundraisers and things to raise money for, the student at the middle school, Ollie, and his family. So again, just fostering all of that great stuff within the district. NHS did a couple big things this year too, our National Honor Society. They did the winter coat drive, clothing drives, teaming with students' services, and then just recently, a couple weeks ago, the Carnations drive, which was for a couple bucks, you could get a carnation and write a nice special note, and that would go out to kids, and they raised $500 for the Children's Advocacy Center of Southwest Michigan. So those carnations were all over the building, and it was great, and to see the notes, and we even had a couple teachers I had one teacher who I think might have bought 1 carnation for every kid in his grade. So that was pretty amazing. Mr. Pearson. So that just, not only does Mr. P love gaming and love ASA, but he loves writing special notes for kids. So that's just, we really appreciate all that our teachers and our groups and our kids do. Some Spanish program positives. Are you going on June 23rd, Mrs. Munyon? No, okay, I didn't know if you were or not. The Puerto Rico trip is in June. 17 students,
Someday.
5 adults will have 5 days immersed in the Spanish language and Puerto Rican culture. So that's great that we're bringing that back. Like I said, our Spanish 3 classes are growing and all the fun things they're doing. So Mr. Munyon and Mrs. Garland are just bringing that culture and getting that program just people excited. And then I'm just going to end with just a bunch of quick positive things. Again, traveling pep rallies, promoting district-wide spirit. That just continues, and our parents and our families love to see that. Our mythology class, which we know Mrs. Holock runs, always doing great things, partnering with the fire department. They had their Viking ships burned recently, just the community working together with that. Mr. P and his esports team, champions like always, right? Esports, they won Rocket League in the fall and then Valorant in the spring, kicking butt in the video game world. Our Science Olympiad team, the best we've ever done. I mean, we had 10 students go to state. We had 11 qualify, but only 10 could go. Shattered school records, most first place finishes ever in a regional event with 10, most qualifying for state. The highest placement for an event at state with 1 competitor, we had like a 1-person event, 13th. Our highest place at a state for when you have 2 teammates, that was 7th. And then the highest medal placing with 3rd place finish with 3 people. So they were just doing great. And our more kids are getting involved. Mr. Brinks, Mr. Cribley are just killing it in that Science O world. Our FAFSA night we did this year, we tried to have a couple of those, and we team up with LMC and SMC. We had one of our biggest crowds this year. It might have helped we had food, but it was okay bringing those people in, and I feel bad because it's the worst year for FAFSA, it seems like, getting that stuff. If you haven't heard about Miss Thomas with her new role, she's killing it with these mini PDs. She's been having mini PDs in her room during the day, so like teachers will come in on their preps, and then she'll teach them lots of fun, cool things, and she brings snacks. But our teachers, like, this is the one year I can walk around rooms and see people doing stuff that they've either learned from Miss Thomas or Miss Elliott, again, as an example. They've gone away and have come back and teach things. So lots of teacher on teacher teaching, and I love it. We had a chem demo day where Mr. Bennett worked with Miss Frost, and they did this really cool event out in the parking lot and invited all the classes down, just trying to get everybody involved in stuff. Mrs. Frost, Region 7 Teacher of the Year, just as usual, she's killing it. Had a lot of military and college career visits. We had our band went to state festival, jazz band was at festival, all receiving high marks. We came off a year of a little uncertainty, bringing someone new in, and just went right in, and they did very well. Choir back as well, earning high marks at their concerts and festivals, and it's just great to see those numbers grow. We had an amazing senior trip this year, 2 years in a row where there have been no incidents. We got one of the fun things. Hey, I will tell you, my favorite thing of the whole senior trip, because they want me to go the last couple of years, is we parked a bus in the middle of like Indianapolis, and I said, everybody get your Lime Bike app. You got about 50 kids running off the bus all over Indy looking for Lime bikes, and we all scooted around for like half an hour. Just a great experience, but kids are just running everywhere trying to find the bikes. So that was a lot of fun, and no one got hurt. A few more things. You know, as usual, we did our senior parades. We did our picnic. If you saw the petting zoo down there, Mrs. Hollock even got to ride a horse, but like things no one else is doing, right? We had horses and goats, and there was chickens, and there was bunnies and dogs, and our seniors just had a great last day of school. So, you know, you can't, yeah, tractors. I mean, it was just a fun day, and again, no one got hurt. Mr. Fry and I decided to close campus for lunches, and that's done a pretty good thing. It was a good change this year, so our kids have been staying on campus, and no one is out getting hurt, right? And we've only had a few people kind of swindle the system, but there's really nothing we can do with that. We did the senior parking spots this year, which I have a feeling next year will grow even bigger because the kids love doing that and they love having their space and they've really enjoyed that. It wasn't to make money, it was just to have fun. And, you know, Mr. Fry and I, if we have to, we'll repaint them for the fall. We don't know yet. If there's a nice day, we want to work on our tans and paint those. As Mrs. Robinson said, we brought back the top 10 breakfast. And I want to say something here is that Mrs. Asmussen, Mr. Winkler, Brandywine, and Niles principals, we get along very well. And this has been I've never had this experience. We have an email thread that's constantly going where we work together, share ideas. I mean, if you go over to Brandywine, I mean, Evan will tell you they're doing a lot of things that I've shared with him, and I love that. You know, it's okay and then I've learned some things from them. It's just nice to see us working together. That's what it's about. And bringing that top 10 breakfast back was one big start in just us working together. And hopefully it continues to grow. And then this one really wasn't out there, but the Berrien County did this youth needs assessment, which was a survey. And, you know, we try to push these things, but who knows if kids are going to fill them out. Top 3 in the county, so that was amazing. And then the last thing, I just want to talk about a couple things for the future. I know I probably talked longer than I said. Next year, we're going to do some tiered interventions where we're going to be working on having teachers be tier 3 interventionists throughout their day, and they're going to be able to work with students that are needing that more intense help. So we're hoping that will help change and improve some of those students that are struggling. We're adding AP Government next year. Mr. Johansson's super excited about that. He's got right now it's, super popular. We got good numbers for that. Mr. Fry and I are going to continue to update the handbook, the policies, and the programs. We want to continue to find new ways to recognize our kids for academics, their hard work, behavior. That's one of our goals this summer, is to find more things, look around, see what other schools are doing as well. And then I think really just kind of work on more community outreach, things we can do to bring parents in and just continue to grow in that area. So I think that's all I have. And if you have any questions? No?
Any questions?
All right, thank you guys.
Great year.
Okay. Going on to item I, information and reports and new business.
We have one more,
No.
Dr. Burnett.
Oh, nobody
I'll
talked.
keep it short. Mr. Pruitt told me 5 minutes, but
Oh, it's after.
he talked like Miss Southwell, so I'll keep it shorter.
Oh, sorry, Reed. I didn't read right.
That's all right. I just have a quick little rundown of kind of athletics for the entire school year, at least what I could fit in. Some of our spring sports aren't done yet. We've had, I believe, close to 30 athletes who have been all conference. I know football had 5 all regional players and 1 all state player. Soccer had 3 athletes who were on the all district team. Our volleyball team had 2 athletes on the all region team, and they also had 2 all state athletes in volleyball. In cross country this year, we had 4 runners who were on the all region team and the boys. The team itself, the entire team qualified for state, and they also were regional champs, both the boys and the girls cross country team. Our girls cross country team also had the individual overall individual winner, which if you've been to a cross country meet, some of those things, there's hundreds of runners, and Emma Miller was the overall winner, so that was amazing. The girls team also qualified for state and were the regional champs. during the during the fall, I think we also had 3 teams who, in one capacity or another, had athletes named academic All-State. I believe the football team was honorable mention, academic All-State, and I think both the boys and girls cross country were named to the academic All-State teams as well. So that's an amazing accomplishment for those teams. In the winter, we had, I believe, 6 all-conference athletes. Wrestling qualified 6 individuals for the regionals, and 2 of those individuals, Lee Payne and Braden Sebasti, went on to wrestle in the state finals. So that was a big accomplishment for those 2. This spring, the only sport that really has had their all-conference has been baseball, and they had 4 first-team all-conference athletes. Softball has been, like you guys already mentioned, softball has won the conference. Soccer, the girls' soccer team has been the conference champs, or is the conference champs, as well as our tennis team. We kind of co-op with the SAC conference, and our girls' tennis team won the Lakeshore division for that SAC tennis conference. The tennis team also had both the 3rd and 4th doubles, I believe, were regional champs last week. So that was a huge accomplishment for those young ladies. Our golf team has their regionals in about a week. This past weekend, we had 8, 10, I believe we had 10 athletes qualify for the Division III track state meet, which is going to be held June 1st in Kent City. I think we had 2 athletes last year, so we really, did a great job at the track meet this past weekend. I think that's all. Mr. Pruitt mentioned a little bit already, the honors convocation last night. We had 2 winners for the Glenn Jesse Award, which is our sportsmanship award. That was Sydney Greaves and Britton Phillip. And then our Scholar Athlete Award, which is a Lester Miller Award. Those awards went to Hannah Herman and Nico Finn. So that kind of is just a little bit of a rundown of our athletics for the season, for the year. In BVA, I had written a couple things down. We're expecting 10 of our BVA graduates to join us in the high school graduation this Thursday. We've had several more who have graduated earlier in the school year, so those people aren't participating. But I think it's exciting to have 10 of those who are going to participate with our high school students this Thursday. So I think that's it. If anybody has any questions.
Thank you.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Great year.
Excuse me. All right, moving on to information reports, and Superintendent Ann Buck, parent conversations.
Yep, I held my last superintendent and buck conversation on April 23rd. I held those throughout the year at various buildings, and next year we'll do the same thing next year. And those are just kind of open door times for parents or community members to come in and talk about anything. So.
Very good. All right, Board Policy Committee.
So the Board Policy Committee has met 3 times, marathon meetings each time.
Is it 3 or 4? I'm lost.
I brought my
like
binder
3 on
tonight, which everybody's teasing me about, but I brought it in case anybody wants to see. So we're really just reviewing all the policies and what kind of changes need to be made. Those meetings were, let's see, Katie, Dr. Burnett, Michelle, Trish, and I.
And all joking aside, it has been a really good process to review
Yes,
them all.
that is true. It's fun. True.
It's good to just review everything. It's good to review everything and make sure that we have the most up-to-date, the most current, the best worded policies that we possibly can.
And Michelle, you've done a really nice job of making that manageable, because it would have been quite the task to tackle without that. Thank you.
Yeah, especially listen to the video. Those are going through it, so, very good. All right, Facilities Planning Committee. Who's that?
I'm gonna let Kelly go, because I wasn't there for the first.
Oh, that's right.
I'm like, which one
Better
was
than
it?
half.
I'm sorry, is this with the company?
The company.
Okay,
Carmine.
sorry. You might
Is
have
that
to
the
help.
one?
I'm sorry, I think it was.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
So we met with, say it again, Carmine?
Carmine.
Carmine, a facilities like management company that basically came in and listened to our needs, some of our, where we're at with past, wants and needs to current, and then moving forward into our future, and trying to get the, requesting things in the best way for our district, making sure that we are covering everything that is of importance, and obviously aged out things, just some stuff, and then how to kind of approach it. So very detailed, just trying to get them the correct information. There's a lot of information with a full district. So, and then just covered some of the, historical stuff with it, and then where we're at. Mr. Curlin was there, very helpful with kind of like our task punch list, stuff like that, and then where we're moving forward, and then how's it all gonna fit together, so.
Yes.
Which we're gonna have a follow-up,
Yep.
so.
Yeah, we'll have a follow-up, and as Mrs. Lesh said, it gives us some details, and it is a facilities assessment, is what they will provide for us. And,
Thank you.
Yep, and it'll give us a bunch of details about what we need to focus on and prioritize our needs of the district.
And we haven't had one in 8 years, what was it,
Since-
8? I think it was like 8 years. And it's like a binder like this big, but it goes over a lot of stuff. And they were, like I said, Mr. Curlin provided, the superintendent's office provided very good details to try to help make it not as difficult or as time-consuming to gather all the information. So I think that will help too. They were pleased with the information that they had received so far. Yep.
Human Resources Committee.
We met on May 1st, and that was Trish, Carrie, Kelly. Ruth was not able to make that meeting. We went over the resignations, retirements that were upcoming, the new hires that you'll hear on the agenda today, and that also included open positions that were still posted, kind of the status of those positions, where the interviews stood, and then just an update on the negotiation schedule for everything that is upcoming. It's a busy season, so making sure that all of those are moving forward as they should be.
Very good. Farm Advisory Committee.
So we had our plow day. It was very exciting. It was probably the busiest pancake breakfast. Ms. Reddick, I would say you were our volunteers, so the busiest. That was nonstop. I don't think I stepped away from the table, but maybe a couple times to go get some water and start some hot water stuff, but it was just a constant flow. But the support and then just all the other activities. We are in our final spring programs, and it is pumpkin planting, the garden part. So they are getting that finished up. I think this week they were doing those. So the last of the field trips, and then just putting on some of the radar for the farm council is just future, again, growth of the school farm, maintenance of the school farm, continuing the 52-year tradition that we have, and seeing how with Jared, who is our education coordinator, who's done a great job stepping into that, and then just the council and everybody kind of pitching in. I do want to say that I appreciate Miss Frost for being the the teacher liaison for us, but she got volunteers, and just having high schools the high school students volunteering is huge. I met Merrick, and he was a great help. And then at McDonald's the other day, they messed up, and who do I see is Merrick, and he is so nice. And I said, hey, Merrick, and he goes, looks down at his name tag, and he's like, oh, hi, you're from the school farm. So just the connections that you make, but he was so pleasant there, and he was pleasant in his job, so it was very cool.
You know, that reminded me, since you said Merrick.
Yep,
He brought back a play this year, and Merrick,
he was in it.
he had like 10 roles.
He talked about it there, and I was gonna come to it, but I had to work, unfortunately. But, so just making those connections with students is huge, but also to get them out and the socialization and just learning about what they're doing is huge. So I just wanna say thank you to the high school. We had like 10, 12 volunteers from the high school, and then obviously our Mr. Babcock flipped pancakes the entire time. Miss Redgan made the pancakes the entire time. Aaron Ross from the PTM helped, and then out in the Sugar Shack, our trusted three amigos, which are Mr. Brooks, Marilyn Harmon, and Miss McGirt. They've done it forever, because she goes, what are you gonna do when we can't help you anymore? And I'm like, well, let's not talk about that. And so we just appreciate, and then Mr. Flenner makes all the sausage like at 5 in the morning, the day of. Like, it's just huge how many people pitch in for that. So we do want to say thank you to our community and to our volunteers. It was a very successful plow day. I guess my thing would be, we are getting ready to plan for another great year at the school farm with some new additions, so just be on the lookout for that. So thank you.
All right. Emergency Security Committee.
Do you want me? Yeah, I was like,
Guys go, yeah.
so the Emergency Security Committee, so there is, we have to get our EOP plan in by June? I was like, by June. So basically, we all pitch in, we have a new template, and then we kind of walked through it, made sure that there were some things in there, some new portions that were mandatory that had to be in there, and then how are we gonna tackle them? For instance, one was like providing CPR. So we have a school nurse, and so just making sure that everybody's tasks, the lists are current. So it's just a lot of detailed information that has to be put in this plan. And then what I really liked about our meeting is that we, not only are we making sure our plan is correct and turning it in, is that we're gonna have follow through when we're done, and making sure that our district does know what our EOP plan is, and then how to utilize it, and do some different things with, you know, the drills, tabletop drills, different things that we can do, that they already do throughout the year, but also just making sure that everybody's on the same page, because things do change. It is a fluid form, so we are constantly kind of looking at it. And then with some of the new changes, just making sure we're hitting those, and then making sure we're sharing it out, so. And then just reviewing it again and again and again, because it's a lot, so, and sometimes when you look at that stuff, and for instance, Harvey's been here how long, but I was on it like 8 years ago, and I'm like, oh, that hasn't changed much, and then, you know, seeing some things that have changed, so just making sure that everybody's taking their time to review it and make sure it fits Buchanan School District, so.
All right. And Parent Advisory Committee.
And so the Parent Advisory Committee meeting, we met on May 15th. We had about 6 parents there. This was our last meeting of the year, so we kind of did a wrap-up with the safety and security. That group was paramount in getting the Buchanan Community Schools Foundation set up. We do have a parent that has, she has a summary written up, and we're gonna share that throughout Buck's Bulletin this upcoming week. Our safe environments, Ms. Phillip just gave us some information regarding the child well-being dashboard that is from Barry and Risa. So with that group, they'd like for us to do a student advisory committee, and then work with the students that are part of the Well Child Collaborative, or the Whole Child Collaborative. And that is, I believe it's Sarah and, is it Sutherland?
Yeah.
Sutherland, who are part of that. So I am tasked with reaching out to them before the end of the school year to get things going for next school year, and developing the student advisory committee. the other big thing, the group gave me some feedback of wanting to continue those meetings and having those meetings in person, and then also just being, bringing awareness to the community that this does exist. So, which is why they want to do a quick summary so that we can include it in our bulletin and push out the notes from it. So that's pretty much it.
Very good. All right, moving on to public comments, and I don't have a public comment card, correct?
Nothing for me.
No. Okay, so no public comment card, so we'll move on, but just so that those who are aware that we do have that opportunity in our agenda for public comments. Moving on to item K, adoption of the consent agenda. Do we have a motion, please?
I make a motion, the Board of Education approves the consent agenda for the regular board meeting of May 2024 be adopted as written, including the minutes from the 4/15/2024 regular meeting, the warrants, treasury and expenditure reports from April 2024, recommendations to hire as submitted for Madison Boone, Ottawa Elementary Behavioral Specialist, and Trey Myers, substitute bus driver. Also employee departures, Mark Hartman, band director, effective June 6, 2024. Callie Morris, GSRP, teacher assistant paraprofessional, effective June 6, 2024. And Rebecca Marshke, fourth grade teacher, June 6, 2024.
Support.
All right. And can we have a roll call, please?
Any comments?
No. Comments? Go ahead.
Just wanted to say thank you to the 3 departures, but Ms. Marshke, who was a great fourth grade teacher, and just wanted to say thanks for all their hard work and contributions to Buchanan Community Schools. So,
Ready? Roll call.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. Brackett,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Ms. Berry,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L1, recommended action, Buchanan High School 2024 graduation certification. We have a motion, please.
I move that upon satisfactory completion of district requirements for high school graduation, Board of Education hereby approves the graduates as listed on the attached roster to be certified for graduation, and further authorizes the administration to prepare diplomas to be presented at the 2024 commencement ceremony.
Support.
And Ms. Robinson.
Just congratulations to all who made that list, and we will celebrate them on Thursday.
Very good. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. Brackett,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Ms. Berry,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L2, BBA graduation certification. We have a motion, please.
I'll make the motion upon satisfactory completion of district requirements for high school graduation. The Board of Education hereby approves Buchanan Virtual Academy students Annabelle Colglazer, Ivy Holloway, Taylor Jackson, Patience Moore, Skylar Perry, Brooke Sheldon, Braxton Wakes, Jacoby Washington, and Jaden Williams, and Buchanan Step Up students Hannah Williams and San Antonio Williams.
All right.
Support.
Ms. Robinson.
So each month, we've had graduates from our BBA program and our Step Up program, so we just congratulate all of them. And then we did hear from Mr. Reed tonight that 10 of our graduates will participate in the graduation ceremony on
Nice.
Thursday. Yep, which is nice.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. Brackett,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Dr. Carlin,
Yes. Ms.
Ms. Berry,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L3, administrator cell phone reimbursement. May we have a motion?
I make a motion the Buchanan Board of Education approves district leaders who are required to have a personal wireless communication device as a condition of their employment shall receive an annual stipend to reimburse them for the costs associated with maintaining and using the device for business purposes, equivalent to leadership, $35 per month for each month employed, and the superintendent, $50 per month for each month employed.
Support.
Okay, Ms. Robinson.
No other comments, but
No other
thank you
comments.
guys
Very
for
good.
Stipend.
the stipend.
Any question or comment from board members? All right. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L4, donation of Buchanan Community Schools artifacts to the Buchanan District Library. May we have a motion?
I'll make the motion that the Buchanan Board of Education approves the Buchanan Community Schools District request to grant access and ownership to the Buchanan District Library of the following items: 3 original 5x7 glass plate negatives, one of the north facade of Buchanan Union School, which is the old high school, one of the south facade, that word's gonna trip me up all night, of Buchanan Union School, and the one that shows the west facade of the Dewey School after being remodeled, all probably around 1907.
Support.
All right. Ms.
Didn't
Robinson.
have to say facade.
Ms. Robinson.
Yeah, we just thank the partnership with the library, Mr. Lisi, really, for his work in keeping our artifacts together and organized for us.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L5, Berrien Reset General Fund Operating Budget.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education adopts the following resolution. Whereas this board received the Berrien-Risa General Fund operating budget following the Berrien-Risa Board meeting of April 8th, 2024, and whereas in accordance with Section 380.624 of the revised school code, this board must now adopt a resolution expressing its support or disapproval of the proposed Berrien-Risa General Fund operating budget, and must submit to the Berrien-Risa Board any specific objections and proposed changes to the board may have to the budget prior to June 1, 2024. Therefore, be it resolved that the Berrien-Risa General Fund operating budget for the 2024-2025 school year be supported, and that the Secretary of the Board is hereby directed to submit a copy of this resolution to the Secretary of the Berrien-Risa Board of Education, along with any specific objections or proposed changes to the budget.
Support.
All right, Ms. Robinson.
Yep, and this is a yearly resolution, and just so you all know, we do go over the budget too in our superintendent's meetings as well, so.
Any questions from board members? All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L6, appointment to Buchanan District Library Board. May we have a motion?
I make a motion, the Buchanan Board of Education appoints Janet Kuhn,
Yeah, it's good.
that is correct, okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I guess I read something wrong. Janet Kuhn and Trinity Young as Buchanan Library Board representatives for the Buchanan District Library Board of Trustees.
Support.
All right, Ms. Robinson.
Yep, we appreciate your support in allowing them to be on this board.
All right. Questions? Roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L7, set the 2024-2025 budget public hearing date.
I make a motion, the Buchanan Board of Education adopts the following resolution. Whereas the Uniform Budget Act requires the 2024-2025 budget be adopted prior to July 1, 2024, therefore be it resolved that the public hearing for the 2024-2025 budget will be held during the regular board meeting on June 17, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Buchanan High School Auditorium.
Support.
All right, Ms. Robinson.
This is another yearly resolution regarding our budget hearings.
Okay. And roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Berry,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L8, business manager contract for the BRISA.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education approves the contract for business manager services with Barry and Risa for the 2024-2025 school year.
Support.
All right, Ms. Robinson.
Yep, it's the same thing. We do contract some of our services out to Barry and Risa within our business office, and it is for our business manager, so.
Okay. Questions? Roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L9, moving into closed session for bargaining strategy. May we have a motion, please?
I make a motion the Buchanan Board of Education moves into closed session per Section 8C of the Open Meetings Act for negotiation related to the collective bargaining process at 7:26.
All right.
Support.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes.
do you spell your name? Just kidding. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Miss Brackett?
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Miss Berry?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item M, question or comments from board members. Just like to say that Wayne's funeral went well, and continue to keep Ruth and the family in your thoughts and prayers as they continue to adjust with the loss. But on behalf of, we thanked her, or we sent our condolences on her behalf for the board. Can't even talk anymore.
You're right, thank you.
And everything like that, so, and also, again, thanking Trish and the schools for opening up the competition gym those 3 days to accommodate for the influx of different people to provide their support. Yeah, so, right.
Congratulations to our graduates that are going to be graduating later this week, and hoping for great weather so we can be outside.
Yeah. Very good.
And congratulations to Mrs. Hempel and Laura Morris on their, and thank you, congratulations and thank you. 'Cause
For the
a lot of
retirements.
years here.
Mhm.
And then, Mr. Kurland, thank you to him for, there was a pretty large group here this weekend for a tree planting in honor of Jason Leitz. So I know
Oh,
that
nice.
Mr. Kurland was very helpful in that, so the Buchanan Tree Friends said thank you.
I'm gonna say another big kudo to Phil. He's done a couple different things just for the sound and for Mr. Ryder's funeral and different things, so we do appreciate all his help. And Michelle for staying over so late. Thank you.
Sorry.
All right. Next board meeting is June 10th, and we're adjourned.